Crash Bandicoot. It's my favorite video game series of all time. And it's one of the most popular gaming franchises of all time as well. So, aside from Spyro, Mario, Sonic the Hedgehog, and even Rayman and Tomb Raider, among others. So, my parents would obviously get pissed off when I would do the crash dance in public as well as in front of them. You get the picture. So, let's take a look at the timeline of Crash Bandicoot. The main timeline, I should say. So, we're gonna do all adventure modes. So, we're not gonna do the evil adventure mode in Crash Bash, because that's not canon. So, yes. So, this is gonna be a little while. So, get comfy. Get yourself something nice to drink and snack on. And let's take a look into the complete timeline of Crash Bandicoot and Coco Bandicoot, as well as their friends and foes. So, and I'm here with, yeah, my girlfriend Angelina here. Yeah, so let's get started. The timeline starts with Dr. Neo Cortex, born to a family of circus clowns. After a freak accident, an explosion kills the circus clowns, and the circus explodes, only Cortex surviving. At the age of 6, he attended high school with his colleague, Dr. Brio. Yeah.
Hi guys, Cindy Hill here, and Never's here. Hi.
Hi. So yeah, that proves it. So, yeah. At the age of 6, he attended high school. With his colleague, Dr. Brio. So, yeah. Oh, and another freak accident explosion happened. Only Cortex and Brio surviving. Oh, and once at the age of 8, he attended the Academy of Evil with Brio and Dr. Engine. And in the 90s, he wanted to create an army of super animals Crash and the bandit and the mutant he would create would be none other than Crashworth Cortex the First, otherwise known as Crash Bandicoot. And and he
Coco Bandicoot here.
Yep, here she is. So we're not whether it's gonna be with a gang of Australian animals like Ripperoo, a blue kangaroo who is crazy, as well as Koala Kong, Pinstripe Potoroo, Dingodile, Tiny Tiger, Tawna, Crash's girlfriend, and of course the mystery sister, who will be mystery female Bandicoot. Though we're not going to spoil anything, so here we are. Hint, hint. So Crash escaped from the castle, only to realize that his girlfriend Tawna was next up on the Evolvo Ray. So Crash travels back all the way back to Cortex Castle with the help of Aku Aku. So That's Crash. He travels back to Cortex Castle and defeats Dr. Cortex and his gang of quirky animals with his bait with him and his girlfriend on the blimp traveling home. Oh, and
Yeah,
he gets a
Crash.
sister named Coco Bandicoot. Heads up, and Cortex.
Which is me.
Oh, and Crash 2 starts off with Dr. Cortex plummeting from the sky after he was defeated by Crash. After crashing into a cavern of crystals, he then teams up with Dr. Engine to create a Cortex Vortex of Cortex, helping you, making you gather crystals, while Brio making you collect gems. And then, after collecting crystals, Cortex's plans fail, as well as Brio destroys the Cortex Vortex with Crash and Coco's help, freeing Uka Uka, Aku Aku's evil brother, from imprisonment. Yup, there he is. Oh, and
Whoa.
this also included an arrival of more villains like Dingodile and Entropy, who I mentioned before. Dingodile, yep, So the latter happens to be the third boss, yep, who creates a time twister machine, and Crash collects all the crystals, gems, and relics. Heads up, and defeats the villains, turning them into itty bitty babies. Little bitty babies, yeah. So yeah. And then we have the Insane Trilogy, in which Crash goes on, in which, Coco helps Crash gather crystals and gems and relics through her laptop with Crash 1, and she helps him collect crystals and gems and relics in traveling through her laptop in Crash 2 and 3, and this explains the failure in Crash 1 and Crash 4, and we get to see flashback tapes of Coco and this takes place crashing. Dr. Neo, Cortex, and Entropy get banished to the timeline. Thankfully, we get to skip the entire past, them growing up once again. In the time that passed, they get to escape with Uka's powers, and this introduced the Quantum Masks, with Crash, Coco, Tawna, and Dingodile as their new recruits. Yep. After all, we're gonna talk about Tawna's timeline. So yeah. The Tawna timeline, obviously, every discussion in this segment is not confirmed to have. In this timeline, we got female Troopy, Tawna became an adventurer, and Crash and Coco have been killed in her timeline by Dr. Female Troopy. Yup. However, in the timeline where Cortex does not exist and haven't been able to plan to take over the world, neither Brio, and we get the return of Brio since Crash 2. Yup,
That's cool.
and which explains a lot about the Rejected. However, in this timeline, Crash and Coco get killed by Dr. Female Troopy, and Cortex, having teamed up with the heroes, betrays them, capturing the Quantum Mask, forcing him to go back to 1996 to rid himself from the Bandicoot, to stop himself from creating him. And he fails. Of course he does. And he has peace, and Uka interrupts him and transports him and himself to the Cortex Vortex, where he gathers in a meeting in which Crash Bandicoot, the Wrath of Cortex, begins, and Uka is pissed off at the villains. Yup. And we get introduced to Crunch Bandicoot and the Elementals, in which is Cortex's recent creation. Yep. And Crash and Coco collect all the crystals, gems, and relics, and defeat the elementals and Crunch, and he becomes a good guy. And Crash Trinsanity kicks off where Cortex and Uka Uka stranded on a block, on an ice block for 3 years straight. And Crash and Cortex, having fallen off, having his plan failed by Crash, of course, later are introduced to the evil twins, Victor and Moors, and it's up to Crash, Nina, and Cortex, and maybe Coco to save the day once and for all. And Nina is a new character, of course, and she's Cortex's niece. Prime Nina, teenager, small child, yep, So we're not counting the GBA games, or handheld games, as I was saying, yeah, because they're not canon. And they take place and after Twinsanity, where Cortex escapes from Crash's brain, which he ends up in the ending of it, and Cortex and Coco haven't been unfrozen, Oxide disturbs them and plans to turn the Earth into a car park. Yep. And it's up to Crash and Coco, and after Oxide fails, he goes back to Gax Moxia, having Crash and Coco dancing in victory. And then later on in Nitro Fueled, about after Mind Over Mutant heads up, we get more stuff like Grand Prix, all 7 of them taking place after Mind Over Mutant heads up. And I like Tawna, Isabella, Ami, Liz, and Megumi as well. And then this is where after Crash Nitro Fueled Adventure Mode takes place in Crash Nitro Kart, in which Emperor Velo kidnaps Crash, Coco, and Crunch, as well as Teen Cortex, yep. And then in the end, after defeating the enemies, Crash and his friends go back to home, back to their island home, and Cortex and his gang get stranded in Terra. And this is where Crash Bash begins after Crash Nitro Kart. I'm sure this is the reason why they can't fight. Ancients would not allow it, and and in the end, Oxide gets defeated once again, and Crash and Coco and Aku Aku and the gang win all the crystals. And then we go to Crash Tag Team Racing, in which it takes place after Bash. However, Crash and Coco and the gang help out the car park as well, and race as well. And this is where, and then Crash of the Titans begins with Cortex and Nina creating a monster mutant as well. And then Coco gets rescued in the end, and in Mind of a Mutant, Crash and Coco team up once and for all as well, and stop Cortex after defeating many mutants, and have peace in Wumpa Island once and for all. And after Mind of a Mutant ends, Crash Team Rumble begins, yep, with a new character, Cat Bat. Cortex didn't even create her. She's obviously a hero. Yep, So yeah. Oh, and apparently after when Rumble ends, you get to win lots of relics. Yep, Whether it's Crash or Coco or Cat Bat or Dingodile or Alternate Tawna, apparently. Yep, So yeah. And there you have it, the complete Crash Bandicoot timeline. Luckily, I've covered all the Crash games in the main timeline. Well, what we weren't counting on the handheld games, notably the GBA, or the Nintendo DS games. Nope. So, well, obvious, because they all take place in other timelines, yeah, in multiverses. So yeah. Thank you all for watching. Definitely subscribe if you're new here, and make sure you give this video a big thumbs up, comment, and share if you get the chance as well. So I hope you enjoyed. Let me know in the comments which timeline of the video game series you want me to do next. So I'll see you all in my next video.